Hello Scorpio, welcome to your reading. My name is Maria and this is an intuitive timeless reading for Scorpio. You could have Scorpio anywhere in your chart where it's dominant, sun, moon, ascendant, stellium, Venus, and this reading is for you when you find it. If it resonates, then that was the perfect time for you to find it. And it could also be for you if you're a cross watcher. So just take it as it resonates. I've done the reading with 4 decks, with the Light Seer's Tarot, the Osho Zen Tarot, the Good Tarot, and the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. And we start out with the highest card in the whole tarot deck, the World. A major completion, a major cycle ending, and a major new cycle about to begin. So big change in your life, and a cycle of this magnitude ending and beginning is a longer process. So it's not one day a door closed and the next day the other door opened. It's a process that you've been in, and you probably know it because you've been experiencing a lot of changes, a lot of probably, actually it comes out, the world comes out with maturity and with the 9 of air. So this describes to me a process where spirit has been chipping away a little bit at you, or maybe a lot, to shed some layers so that a new side of you could start emerging and new parts of you could bloom. So because it's the 9 of air, traditionally the 9 of swords, it tells me that some of this process has been difficult and maybe painful, because any kind of maturing through life really is all of these things. So, but this has been the point of it. The point of it has been to bring you to a better, wiser, and more true you. You know, a you where you start blooming and turning into the best version that you can become. So this new phase, this big completion that is happening, started out with some difficulty for you, because you might have felt like, well, if such a big thing is completing and a new phase is starting, then where are all my blessings? Where are all the things that were supposed to be so great about reaching a new beginning? And you might also have felt like you had to leave a lot of things behind and lose a lot of things in order to reach this completion phase, because stepping through this portal of all this gorgeous sacred geometry would have required for you to shed quite a few things. You have to be almost light as air to pass through this portal into your new life, and that might have left you a little bit disappointed or weirded out by the fact that there wasn't this big fanfare when you reached the other side of the gate. There wasn't this big new thing, shiny new life waiting for you. And you might have felt like maybe you had got the most important things with you, but really you feel like a lot is still missing. And it puts you into your head quite a lot. The mind card comes out, and this is about frustration and overthinking and maybe confusion, and not really being very satisfied with the situation that you stepped into. But it comes out also with the messenger of air, and the messenger of air comes out with, she's always coming out with the truth that you were really looking for, the actual truth. She's coming out to say, even though you're feeling maybe loss and dissatisfaction and you're up in your head trying to figure out what all this was about, she's saying, Scorpio, there is a new beginning, but it's up to you to choose what it's going to be about. and what it's gonna entail, and what you want it to be filled with. You have to make up your mind about what it is that you want. And you might have thought you knew what you wanted, but maybe you really didn't. Maybe you hadn't really thought that you might want something else, or that some of the things that you have been wanting didn't really turn out as you had hoped. And she's actually here to say, how about you look at that? Look at what your choices led to ultimately, and ask yourself if that was really what you wanted, or if your new beginning should take another shape. And I feel that this wake-up call of you realizing, oh, I have to find out what I really want, is this might have already happened, and it brought you into this state of, oh, well, if this new phase is about me creating my life from scratch, then what would I actually like to create? You might be a little confused about it, or you might need to take some time to at least consider it. But it does come out with this card, with this amazing card. So it's the Two of Pentacles, and it comes out with the Creator, which is the human sun card, which is just absolute creational power, incredible backing from spirit and from the universe. And this card is actually saying you can create what you want. Once you know what you want, you will have an immense amount of backing to do it. So really, you're not being asked to create a new world from scratch as such. You're really just being asked to make up your mind, and then you'll have so much energy to manifest that with. And with this comes out the Queen of Air, and she comes out as your higher self, as this incredible, wise, connected, spiritual, higher part of you. And she's also, like the messenger of earth, she's also looking at you very directly, and is very interested in what choice you're gonna make, what choices you're gonna make. And she's asking you to look very carefully at what you've done before and what you would like to do now, because that's actually what's gonna determine how this new phase of your life pans out. And she's pointing out two parts of your life that are important, that are the most important, as it turns out, and what has happened before, and what the new option that is being open to you if you choose it. So that's what the rest of the reading is telling us about. And the first part is love and relationships. So this card comes out very passionately. It's about passion, sexual attraction. It's about stormy relationships, or a stormy relationship. And this has been something that you've been wanting, that you've been gravitating towards, or it could have just been a particular person or a particular relationship, and you've been wanting that passion because, well, yeah, who doesn't? And also you're Scorpio, so you've been craving that intensity. But probably now that you look at it, or this is what your higher aspects are trying to point out, it actually didn't really lead to deeper connection. You wound up kind of alone or frozen, not really feeling like you were being met or having actual deep connection with this or these people that you were having passionate relationships or a passionate feeling towards. And so actually the result was maybe a little different than what you thought it would be, because on a deeper level, some dynamics moved into place that were not healthy. This Temptation card is what would be the Devil card in other decks, and it's coming out to clarify the Lovers. These two cards in the traditional tarot, they are actually very much alike. The Devil and the Lovers are very close to each other. They can very easily tip into each other, meaning that the attraction to another person can very easily make us fall into the trap of being bound, of some entrapment or some trauma loop, some pattern that is bigger than our conscious mind, that clicks into place and sort of has us bound or takes away our freedom of movement in the situation. So some deeper patterns, maybe some traumatic dependency, codependency, could be jealousy, just any kind of destructive emotions that sort of got their hook in you, were actually being activated by this one. So you were looking for the passion, but it actually didn't really give you what you were craving on a deeper level. And the other part that you're being asked to look at is this comes out the Page of Swords as your creativity and or your work or livelihood. These could be the same. You could be an artist, and so your creativity is connected to your livelihood, or you could be an academic, be a scientist, or you could be doing different studies or something, and it's still, your creativity will still be connected to your work or your livelihood, and this was what you usually did, what you have been doing. You've been very up in your head, trying to pull down ideas and trying to make these ideas into something that you manifest into your art or your writings or whatever it is that you've been creating. But this is a very precarious position for this person. First of all, they're walking on a line over a precipice and having these light bulbs pulling them up, and at the same time trying to balancing a book. So there is a lot of either stress or multitasking or just, and it demands an incredible amount of keeping many balls in the air and maybe managing stress, or it does look like it's not a very peaceful situation, and this has probably been the one that you were in, but actually a deeper part of you has been longing to let go of all of that, to let go of being in that situation of having so much that you're trying to figure out mentally and trying to balance, and this deeper part of you hasn't really been satisfied either, just of longing for some flow and some being or some other way of being in the world, hasn't really been able to come to fruition. And underlying that comes out the Love card, yet another Love card. So we have both the Lovers and the Love card on the table. That's the Lovers from two different decks. So very powerful love energy in your reading today. And this comes out as, what you've been doing, your art, your craft, your work, was actually supposed to be a labor of love for you. It was necessary that it was a labor of love for it to be truly satisfying for you. But it feels like either it fell asleep, it became dormant, or maybe it was dormant. And you were kind of left with just all of these balls in the air and trying to figure out and being in a lot of mental energy and keeping your balance in a very difficult situation. And the love kind of wasn't really a part of it anymore, or maybe wasn't at any time, you'll know. But the potential is there, but it's not really awake. So you may be in exactly the right area of your life. This may be completely perfectly suited to you, but there's something about it that's not really being realized in a way that would be most satisfying to your depth. So this is how your choices have been playing out in this earlier phase, in this other big cycle that you're now having the option to end. And what these two messengers, your higher self and your I feel like this is very, very much a truth that lives in the body or in the back of your mind, something that is calling you. These two very powerful and important energies, they come out to say, there's another way to do it. Instead of going for the passion, you're being presented for this option, or with this option, the Knight of Cups. And this one comes out as something that arrives in a more peaceful, gentle way than this incredible passion, and also maybe in a little bit of a more traditional way, which you might have been earlier in your life and feel like, I don't want it to be traditional, I want something else and more fiery. But maybe it's not a bad idea to be open to that. And it also comes out more giving, more gently, and maybe also a little more timid. So something that requires of you to be not 100% in your fiery self, because that would not mesh well with this one. Your fiery self was working a lot better in that energy, but then weirdly it ended up being very cold on the inside. This one requires for you to be more open. The receptivity card comes out. So more open, more vulnerable, more receiving, a little more maybe patient, or just having that, just waiting a little for the other to come and woo you maybe. And so you're actually being asked to be in a maybe a little less controlling in a way, because of course there's passion and it doesn't seem very controlling, but in a way just going directly to the passion, you knew how it was going to play out, and maybe you're very comfortable with that part of you, your femme fatale, or your seductive, tall, handsome stranger persona, or whatever it was that you were in this state. Maybe that was easier for you because you knew what that was, but being in receptivity is a little more unknown. It's a little, you'll be having to relinquish some control and letting the others step in, and maybe doing it in a more timid way than you would be used to, and maybe you also being a little more timid and showing that side of yourself. And what this will bring with it is a different kind of result. It's not this devil energy, but really something very childlike and very magical, like going on a magical journey to Narnia or some other magical lands. This card is always so touching to me. It is like a child that still remembers that magic is real, that doesn't play magic, that still is magic, that can still move around the energies in a way that creates actual change. And I feel that this would be so nurturing for you to rediscover this magical part of you, childlike magic. But it does require for you to be in a more receptive, maybe also a little more cool energy, and then let the love and maybe also the romance, maybe a little more romance, come to you. And then this other option that deals with your livelihood or your art or your creativity starts out with the Seven of Swords. And the way this card comes out today, it comes out, the crow is about truth. It's the harbinger of truth. And here is a guy kind of stealing a crow and running off, but getting caught in the act. This crow is seeing it, and the moonlight is shining down very clearly on him. And how this comes out today, it comes out as, comes out as a description of you having been maybe a little too focused on truth, only truth alone, of just picking up a truth and running with it, and maybe not remembering some of the other surrounding parts, because how you're being, the alternative you're being presented with comes out like this, with the ordinariness card. And maybe this period of your life that you've been in has maybe been demanding of you, that you're supposed to be very unique and find out new things all the time and generate ideas, or maybe you thought that was what you had to do. So you've been maybe very focused on picking up a truth and running with it, but really this one is saying, how about focusing on beauty instead? Just on beauty, and not on getting things, doing things, having this kind of like, this guy is very focused on getting something and doing something and running away with it, and but actually stepping into something much more present about beingness, about beauty, seeing the beauty in the world, being with the beauty of the world, and then actually I feel like all of these flower petals will start raining down. So beauty, being with beauty, and maybe natural things, nature, but really just being present, and also maybe mindful of the beauty of every day, is actually gonna make it rain down on you at another kind, still truth, but truth with beauty. And it will be much more peaceful, and you'll be feeling better, and you'll be feeling more connected. And doing this will bring you into a really stunning new you. A really stunning, what this one could have dreamed about becoming, maybe what you have been dreaming about becoming this star, and then here it is. But the road to it just turns out to be something other than what you thought it would be. It turns out to be something about, well, focusing on beauty and being present, just doing simple things. And I feel like these two mirror each other, but almost in an upside down way, because it's like the colors switched over. But this one, it was maybe in a situation of a lot of stress and pulling down ideas. This one just is that, just is already that light. The light is just shining, emanating. This is her halo. It's innate to her to be the star and to be full of light and ideas and knowingness. And of course also just the upgrade of going from a minor arcana to a major arcana, and to the star, no less. So it's really a road that will lead you to maybe something that you were actually longing for, that is much more peaceful and much more truthful and way upgraded. So quite the reading, bringing you from the world to the star. Maybe you can also see that these two are in a way mirroring each other. One is leading to the other, and this stunning new beginning is available to you, and you'll have an incredible amount of backing and energy from the universe. But really, you have to choose it. You have to choose to do something else, and that something else that you have to do, or that you are being invited to do in order to have new results, is really all about vulnerability. It's about you stepping into something more soft, more present, and just more about just taking a little extra time to reflect and to bloom and to be. So that is actually your option now, is to do something completely different, to choose differently, and then to actually get the results that you've been maybe dreaming about all along. And I drew out 2 spirit animal oracle cards for you, and they came out. The bad spirit came out. A rebirth is assured, which I think is a stunning card to get when you started out with the world. So we're being reminded and reassured. Yes, you have an incredible amount of backing. You have so much powerful creational energy. Once you make your choice and you start moving in this new direction, you'll have so much backing, and it's just a whole new you and a whole new life is going to start emerging. And then the last card I drew is just so amazing to me. It's the rhino spirit, overcome any obstacle. And I love how this rhino comes out with all these flowers that were also a part of your reading. And it just tells me that your new superpower is vulnerability. That will overcome any obstacle. And it might be surprising to you because you have a lot of other superpowers, but some of them have been leading to some maybe weird or little painful results. And then as it turns out that maybe this thing that you were not really about to put out, in front of you in the world, and was maybe not super willing to show to everybody, that's your superpower. That's actually what's going to create this new situation of being receptive and focusing on the beauty and of being present, is going to create so much gorgeous change in your life. And it's actually going to move out of the way of all these things that have been hindering you, so that your new beginning can begin. And really, it's just up to you to choose that. To choose a gentler new you. So this was your reading, Scorpio. Thank you. It was beautiful. And thank you for joining me. I hope you liked it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, share, comment, and come back. See you next time.